Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm Dakota, here with Jordan, and today we're going to do a little dreaming and a little bit of speculating. So we've got the Haslab for Hasbro Marvel Legends coming out soon. It's been teased, or I guess essentially announced, that it's going to be Ghost Rider themed. We just, on the 20th, so that was yesterday as of when we're recording this, we got a release of a new Ghost Rider on like a new Ghost Rider retro card. Mostly just a repaint of the previous Ghost Riders that we've gotten from the Rhino Wave and the Legendary Riders Wave. Slight differences. Instead of black pants, he's got gray pants, like a different colored skull. Still comes with that same chain effect. He's got some skeleton hands, flame effects. But we wanted to talk about what we think.
He's also got the phasing head, though.
That's true. He does have that phasing head.
Johnny Blaze, half Johnny, half Ghost Rider.
Do you like the head, Jordan?
I don't know. I like the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I love. It's kind of sculpted where he's like got this like gritted teeth. I feel like anytime they do that, I think we've talked about this. It just looks like they're kind of constipated or something. Like I think a screaming head, like like he's freaking out and like holy crap, I'm on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have made a little more sense to me.
Right.
Or if I had my real dream, they'd throw in a Nick Cage head for me.
Yeah,
just
there
for
you go.
Time's sake.
That would be cool,
But,
yeah.
I thought that'd be funny. Overall, I mean, I'm kind of excited because I would like a Ghost Rider, and I've had the other ones, but always sold them just because they're ridiculously, like, valuable.
I agree.
The
you can't really justify holding on to a figure that you could sell for over $50 when it's just a Ghost Rider. So
yeah, so this one I'm excited for. I think the hands look cool. I like the little flame effects on them. So I think that this is a reissue that kind of makes more sense to me than some of the other ones.
Yeah,
but I'm glad to be able to get it for retail price and have a cool Ghost Rider.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we don't hold on to the other ones because they're not retail price anymore. Like, you can sell both of those Ghost Riders for, I mean, you can sell the figure itself for $50 probably. If you've got the Ghost Rider with the bike, that one's, I mean, in box, that one's well over $100 now. So
probably $100 even loose though. I mean, if you
it
complete.
I think loose complete, he's still at like 110 to 120. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense to hold on to those figures when they cost that much. Like, I just sold both of those Ghost Riders, and I've got both of those Ghost Riders coming back in to do another flip, to then pay for possibly this upcoming Haslab.
Because he just doesn't even have the, like this one, at least you'd be getting effects, a different head, the hand, like you get a little more, and it's on the retro.
Yeah, so the Rhino Wave one didn't come with anything, I don't think. It was just the figure. And then the Legendary Rider one obviously comes with the motorcycle with all the flame effects on the motorcycle, and then he has a chain, but no alternate head or hands. So yeah, this one will be pretty cool. I know a lot of the people that have been collecting aren't as excited because they maybe have that old one, but like we said, it's more for the newer collectors that want to get that figure at retail, which I think is good of Hasbro to do. And it just doesn't make sense for Hasbro to keep figures that are out on the aftermarket so high when they could be making the money rather than Joe Schmoes like us making the money instead of them. So, with that being said, we know that's coming out. We don't know what the Haslab is going to be for sure yet.
Should we do a brief recap of that?
Yeah.
So we saw at San Diego Comic-Con, right at the end, we got a tease that was pretty clearly... Did they say Ghost Rider, or it was just the fire and we're...
No, I'm pretty sure they had the Ghost Rider
because it's his 50th anniversary too this year, right?
Yeah.
So we know it's a Haslab Ghost Rider related project. We just don't know exactly what at this point.
And then they also teased the crowbar and tire iron.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's like they haven't announced it, but
So we are getting the feeling that it will be the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider,
right?
Who was relative, I think in 2012 he was created, so not super old. I guess about 10 years. But he has, like, instead of the bike, he's got the souped up car that's all crazy and Ghost Rider looking. And everyone, we haven't seen a figure of him. So everyone, I think, is kind of leaning towards it being him. I have to think with it being the 50th anniversary, they're going to try to give us some other classic Ghost Rider stuff, but we can get into that with our speculations on what we think that might be.
Definitely. So yeah, recap kind of what all we have so far in terms of Ghost Riders. We've already mentioned we have the Rhino Wave Johnny Blaze, and we have the Legendary Riders Johnny Blaze. Going all the way back to Toy Biz, we had the first Ghost Rider we ever got was the Danny Ketch. I know a lot of people want a redo of that one, but then we also, after that, got the regular and the phasing Johnny Blaze Ghost Riders. And then we also more recently got the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So that's kind of what we've got to work with so far. And then, like we said, just this new one is announced, going to be up for pre-order later this month. But that's what we've got to work with so far. So some of these could use a reissue, like the Danny Ketch. I doubt we're going to see a Johnny Blaze anything in this Ghost Rider Haslab. Yeah,
I love Johnny Blaze.
So I guess if we're gonna base all this off the assumption that the overall theme here is the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider with the Hell Charger. So I'm gonna assume that the base Haslab, like tier 1 to unlock everything, or to unlock just the Haslab itself, is going to be the Hell Charger with the Robbie Reyes figure. I would really hope they wouldn't split that up and make it like the Hell Charger is base level and tier 1 is Robbie Reyes. What do you think, Jordan?
Do you really think? Okay, here's my maybe it's more of a dream. Pitch.
Okay.
Similar to a No Way Home style 3-pack, your Haslab is a Ghost Rider 3-pack where you get Johnny Blaze with his bike, Danny Ketch with his bike, and Robbie with his Hell Charger as like they'd be 2 unique bikes, of course. If we're really reaching pie in the sky, they'd include like a regular bike that you could sub out for the other guys or something. But I don't know, and maybe it's just because I'm thinking too big in scale of like Sentinel, Galactus, what we've seen. But it almost to me seems like just the car is like too small for a Haslab. But maybe they're trying to branch. I don't know.
I think you're thinking in terms of like toy cars that we have in like on the toy shelves. At least when I hear people talk in the groups about like, oh, I want like a danger room, and they're like, a danger room would never work. It would have to be the size of your bedroom. It's like, okay, I can use an imagination. Like I just want like a display to put my Marvel Legends in. I think this is going to be like, it's going to take up most of my desk here, where a 6-inch figure is going to sit inside the car and make it look like a car scale, which I think that would be at least the size of a, maybe slightly smaller than a Sentinel, like if a Sentinel was laying down. So that's still
That'd be a giant car.
That's what I'm saying. They're probably going to make a giant car.
Why would you? That wouldn't even be to scale then.
Wouldn't it?
No, if it's as big as your table.
Give me a figure here. I have a loose figure. Namor. All right. So you're telling me if Namor's sitting in a car, he's going to be, like, the front of the car is probably going to be here.
All right. So we can hop on YouTube, everybody, and see. Dakota's holding his hands out.
Back of the car, you don't think it would be, like, like maybe 6 inches to the front of him and at least another 9 to 12 behind? Like, you don't, I guess maybe there doesn't have to be a back seat, but I imagine you could fit 4 figures in this car.
I want to fit as many of my toys in there as possible for.
And I feel like it would have a functioning trunk to fit his like weapons in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking that this is going to be way too big. Maybe I'm the crazy one here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the scale might be a little off. I don't know.
It very well could be.
But I guess what I'm saying is like I'm thinking in terms of like the price tag of Sentinel 300, Galactus 400. Like if it's like not $100, but it's like wouldn't they have to do at least like how much do you think it would have to cost to justify a HasLab?
I mean, that's where I hope that we get some different price ranges within the HasLabs. I don't think we will with this one, but I would love to see some cheaper HasLabs where it's like you don't have to have a ginormous Sentinel or Galactus. You can get like a bigger, but it's still in like a $200 range, something like that.
So if the base level is just the car, you think that would be what, like 200, or do you think it would be more or less?
I would think probably at least 250. I wouldn't expect them to be less than that. Just like, because, like, I guess I'm expecting this car to be
250.
bigger, like 2 feet long at least. That's my thought.
Man.
I mean, the his tank was just 300, and I would assume, but the his tank was for the smaller scale figures, wasn't it, or was it for the 6-inch? Let me see.
I think they were the. I'm gonna guess.
No,
smaller guys.
No, it says 6-inch scale.
Oh, all right.
I got it pulled up here because I was looking at the price tag. But yeah, so that was a $300 his tank, 6-inch scale. So I would assume it would be similar in length at least. Probably not quite as tall, but I think kind of going off of this, I think your idea is a little crazy. I don't think they're going to give us a car and 2 motorcycles and a HasLab with 3 figures. I think that's dreaming. I think that would be great if they did. Like if that was a $300.
What if it was like $300? You think that would be ridiculous?
If it was $300, I think that would make sense because people are already paying $300.
That's what I'm hoping for.
True.
If they're giving us $130 Spider-Man Amazon packs.
True.
I think they're gonna want a little more money for a HasLab. I don't think Hasbro's gonna go like, "Oh, just give us $200 and you'll get a hat."
Yeah, I mean, I think 300 might be cheap for that because, like I said, I imagine the car's bigger, and if people are already paying $100 for a Ghost Rider with a bike, like obviously that's aftermarket, but we're never gonna see Ghost Rider as cheap as that one was at retail with a motorcycle again. Prices just going up too much. So I mean, I guess if you get 2 figures with a motorcycle and 1 figure with a bigger vehicle, 300 almost seems cheap at that rate.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I mean, maybe they stick with that $400 like Galactus, but like I said, I'm hoping they start pushing it back down in price a little bit, even if that means we get less size. I think what's unfortunately more realistic, so I'm basing this also off of the his tank and kind of like the Sentinel, with where the Sentinel came with mostly the tiers were alternate heads and one of the tiers was a figure. Similar with the his tank, it was vehicle accessories and 1 figure as a tier. I'm assuming that we're probably going to get the base level Robbie Reyes and the Hell Charger. Tier 1 is probably going to be some sort of flame effects like coming out of the engine, the tires, the back. I think that's maybe best case scenario. I mean, maybe it'll come with some base level flame effects, but this will just be more flame effects.
I'm talking tier 2 Johnny Blaze, baby, with that bike.
Yeah, that's a little pie in the sky. I hope that's right, but I don't, because that would be so many Johnny Blazes that they've made, and it would probably be a remake, which I think would upset people. But then I think if they just gave us a bike, maybe that would be more realistic, because they're like, oh, use this for the other Johnny Blazes that we've already put out. I think tier 2, so yeah, like base level figure and car, tier, like extra tier 1, flame effects, extra tier 2. I would think it would be a little bit more obscure than, I think Johnny Blaze is obviously too popular. They've already made so many figures of him. Danny Ketch, I think people want too much. So unless they do actually do like the full bike and figure, I don't think we would see Danny Ketch here. I would hope to see him outside of a HasLab. I would accept something a little bit more like out there and obscure. So that's where I would think it would be the Alejandra Jones. It's like the female Ghost Rider. I don't know that she would come with a bike. I don't expect it, but I would just expect like a female Ghost Rider because I don't think they would make that as a single released figure. I think that fits well with the HasLab.
Yeah. I could also see, I think you've maybe seen posts. I read some of these comics, the like 1 million BC Avengers.
You're crazy.
Heard of those?
Well,
Come on, dude.
Where are you going with it? Just that
saying,
Ghost Rider?
Maybe you're. Oh, I doubt they'd give you a woolly mammoth that's on fire,
Exactly.
But that'd be cool. What if those were two? Well, no.
That's what I put that in my, like, could you imagine if Hasbro made this and it's like that 1 million BC with a flaming skull woolly mammoth? Yeah. No, that would be crazy. I would buy that and keep it for sure because like I said,
where
with
else
the Mythic
you
Legions,
get a flaming woolly mammoth?
I want the Mythic Legions of Moose. I want a flaming woolly mammoth from Hasbro, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I know. I'm just I'm reading the current Ghost Rider series, and he just manifested a flaming semi truck.
I don't think that's coming in this one either.
What if we get the car, a semi truck, and a woolly mammoth 3-pack?
I would lose my mind. But there's like that would have to be a huge box. Could you imagine how big that box would be?
Now I know, dude. I think I should expect much less with the trajectory of what we've been getting. Like, obviously, this would be amazing. But I think with after that Spider-Man 5-pack on Amazon, I don't know. I'm a little worried about a Haslab.
I don't necessarily mind dreaming as long as I know that I'm dreaming. But with the way that Hasbro has been giving us like that 5-pack, that was disappointing. The 3-pack with the Spider-Mans was pretty good, but that was pretty pricey. That's kind of where I'm keeping this at. And I'm trying to base it also off of previous Haslabs, like the His Tank, because since this is going to be like a vehicle type and those G.I. Joe Haslabs seem to do pretty successfully, I think they're going to keep it like that, where like that His Tank came with like one of the tiers was like, I think it was just a different like dome for the like windshield, and then like tread like blocker things that you just like snap on the sides. Not a very big tier, so that's where I'm kind of like, these tiers probably aren't going to be ginormous, like groundbreaking, like holy cow, they gave us a motorcycle as a tier.
Well, I guess they kind of, even with the what was it, the Rancor that just got totally derailed, but those tiers, I remember people were like,
wasn't it like skeleton pieces, like bones?
Yeah, and then like a Luke Skywalker reissue. It's like, come on, dude. I guess I'm kind of maybe spoiled by when we saw the Galactus ones getting revealed, and it was like new figure. You know,
right. I mean, we did get like the reissue of a Silver Surfer, which was just a repaint with a stand, which I think is still cool because that Silver Surfer is expensive on the aftermarket. But yeah, no, I think, it's hard to base it off of Star Wars, since Star Wars really doesn't have very successful Haslabs. Because like even with that lightsaber, wasn't one of the, or maybe it wasn't a tier, but it was like, oh, they're like, we're gonna add a stand, and it's like, it didn't matter. Like, people don't. That's not gonna really turn the tables here.
Seal the deal for me.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are the kind of tiers that I'm expecting, where like Hasbro is gonna try to get you to purchase it by adding maybe $10 from them into production, where you're gonna spend, more. So that's where I don't think, like, maybe if it was just a complete reissue of that Legendary Riders motorcycle, that's still a big stretch, I think.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just a little too hopeful.
I think you are, Jordan.
I am. But, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, did they talk about this?
They said that they were going to announce more this fall. So I would assume...
This fall. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something in September, just because the His Tank is now finished up. They don't have a Haslab project currently trying to be funded right now. And I think I would hope they're trying to keep them like one at a time now, because wasn't that
didn't they do 3 at a time?
Yeah, that was when the Rancor didn't do well. They had like a Transformers and a Star Wars. So yeah, Star Wars, and Transformers, and
wasn't there a G.I. Joe?
I thought there was a G.I. Joe, maybe one of their like airplane thing, like Sky Striker, or maybe that was the Transformers. Either way, I think they did have 3 going at the same time. Yeah, I don't think they're going to try to do that again. It'd be very smart
if they get in on the Galactus release and people are hopefully raving about it, and that'll get people excited about Haslab.
But that's not coming until November, so you know how Hasbro works. They want to get your money for the next one before you get the first one. So I don't think that's going to happen either. But I still think that this Ghost Rider one, I I'm not sure if it'll get fully funded, but I would assume that it's going to get at least base level backed. I did have a few other, like, could you even imagine if they made, like you said, the Ghost Rider 1 million BC with a woolly mammoth? I think that would be super crazy, probably less likely to get funded at a high price point just because people are like, not really a figure I need, not something I'm going to spend $400 on. I've seen a lot
of Dakota.
400 would be a stretch, but I would want it for sure.
I know.
Another one I've actually seen people hoping for in the groups is I believe it's Carter Slade with the horse.
Oh, right, yeah.
I personally think that Ghost Rider is super cool. I would like that one. Again, I think it's going to be pretty unlikely that comes out with a Hell Charger. But that would be another one that I for sure would want, especially, I mean, it seems like horses are becoming more popular. Like McFarlane's doing them, Mythic Legions is doing them. So that'd probably be about the only one that Hasbro would really put out. And then another kind of cool one would be the first appearance where it's like kind of the white cowboy Ghost Rider with the white horse. Like that one again I think that one would be probably super easy for them to make because it's just mostly white with like do black cell shading. And it would look kind of cool, but again, most likely not going to happen. Some other pie in the sky ideas that people have for tiers. I've seen people think that like Mephisto and Blackheart are going to be tiers.
Fisto with a new throne.
Yeah, fat chance. That's my opinion there because way too many people want Mephisto. I think if they could have probably made Mephisto himself a Haslab, make him kind of slightly bigger, maybe like on a Toy Biz Giant Man scale, give him a throne maybe, or probably have to make him a little bit smaller to give him a throne like that maybe, but there's no way that would be a tier because like I said, people would want that by himself, and then you could make his tiers like Flame Effects and other demon type characters. Same with Blackheart. Like I think too many people want him.
Yeah.
Vengeance would be another cool one to see again, which I think he'll probably come out on that retro Ghost Rider card now. Probably not with a motorcycle, but if you've got the old Toy Biz one, you can probably just repurpose that motorcycle and use it. So that was kind of what we expect for the upcoming Haslab. Jordan, did you have some ideas for Haslabs that you want to see in the future?
I mean, am I allowed to dream here, or does this have to be...
I say we do dream, and then, I mean, if you've got something that you're like, oh, this is a dream, it never happened, or if you've got something realistic that you think would happen, both are accepted here.
Okay. I mean, if we're dreaming of, like, moving away from the, like, vehicle or giant character...
Mm-hmm.
I really want, my Legion of Monsters. At first, I pitched it to you as a Frankencastle Build-A-Figure.
Right.
I think that was definitely pie in the sky. Probably not going to happen. I don't know how I would like that to be necessarily executed.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of cool potential there, just because there's what their version of Frankenstein, zombie, living mummy,
mm-hmm.
Dracula, and then you've got like Frankencastle if you had him somehow. I don't know. I mean, in those comics, it's like they kind of have like a Ninja Turtle underground layer sort of thing going on,
mm-hmm.
which I think would be kind of like. I guess that would open up the whole world of dioramas if they would do Haslabs like that. But I've seen a lot of people asking for other different theme teams as a Haslab. I've always kind of dismissed that right away, but I guess as we've talked about, if you're continually just saying we need to make a big toy and then a bigger toy and then an even big, like
it
that's
has
just
to stop.
not it's just not viable. So
right.
I don't know. I mean, obviously your brain goes to like a Giant Man. Would we ever see him? I'm sure you probably have some more specific ideas. I haven't dug into that one.
For my Giant Man, I would want him to be at most Sentinel sized, maybe even a little bit smaller, just so he fits in better with the Avengers. I think tiers for that one could be like a small Ant-Man that came with the Goliath, the Toy Biz one, because I mean, as far as Toy Biz figures go, I think that's an amazing value for your money. Like, obviously, Goliath wasn't very articulated, but you got 2 articulated small figures. And I think Hasbro could do maybe a better job, or at least as good a job, with a small Ant-Man, rather than giving us those, like, statue figures and calling it a multi-pack. Articulate them, please. I think a Hank Pym figure would be a pretty easy tier for that. Probably just make it similar to like a Red Hood or the Mr. Fantastic retro card where he's got the lab coat and everything. And then I think probably a little bit pie in the sky, but having a Goliath as a part of that, like as your final tier, but having that Goliath be larger than a regular figure released, because, I mean, if one tier is like a tiny Ant-Man, next figure is Hank Pym, those are kind of like tiers, but then make that final tier like I'm thinking on the scale of like a Hulkbuster Build-A-Figure.
Like a
Goliath.
mid-size.
Right. Not as big as a Haslab, but also bigger than a regular figure. I think that would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. I feel like it's not a matter of if, but kind of when they'll do a Giant Man.
Yeah.
Again, in that scale. Like, that seems like a no-brainer eventually, but I can see them maybe trying to just explore other avenues before. So it's not just like... Because if you do Galactus, or if Sentinel, Galactus, Giant... It kind of sets this precedent of kind of what we've talked about, is every single Haslab just going to be, this is a giant toy,
Right.
Or a giant being. Couldn't we do, obviously, like with the Ghost Rider, maybe a vehicle, or maybe I don't know, some kind of accessory setting, diorama.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I imagine they probably don't want to back themselves into that corner of all we do are really, really tall characters.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my last big figure is obviously a Fin Fang Foom. I think he would be cool. Again, I still would like to see like the cap be Galactus, like nobody bigger than Galactus. I mean, if they make like a Arishem or something like that,
some kind of
make it as big as him. Yeah, if they make a Celestial, don't go any bigger than Galactus. Fin Fang Foom could be a little bit smaller because he's going to have like the wings and it's going to like still take up a ton of space. Tier 1 for that I think would be a cool like flame out of his mouth effect. Tier 2 maybe like smoke out of the nostrils. And then tier 3 I was kind of stretching like maybe cloth goods purple trunks or maybe a chef's hat, because there's one issue where he like appears with like a chef's hat and I think he's got like a golf club and something else, but just kind of an obscure reference, kind of like the Doctor Doom head for Galactus. And then similar to you, I would like if we didn't have to always go with big figures that will never fit on these shelves behind me, if we had like just bigger box sets. So I thought a cool box set would be like kind of an OG Avengers set, where with that one maybe you get something more like a Giant Man that's in the Toy Biz scale, just updated from Hasbro. Get a Captain America, Thor, Iron Man in the gold like first appearance armor, another small Ant-Man and Wasp, or maybe just a small Wasp if you don't want to have 2 of the same character in there, and then a Hulk. If you want to make it like expand it, make it bigger, spend more money, add in Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, maybe Black Panther and Vision if you wanted to throw in them, because I think they could do a really cool like old school Black Panther that they haven't done yet, with kind of more of the blue cell shading, which I'm kind of surprised they haven't done that yet, but I would assume that's coming. They could put it in my new Haslab. And then another cool one would be an X-Men versus the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, where you'd get kind of the original X-Men with Professor X, Cyclops, Jean, Beast, and Angel, and Iceman. Kind of that old school Professor X where he's got like the non-hover chair blanket. I don't know what I would want for the X-Men, because I don't love when they're all in the same costume. So I don't know if I'd really want that first class, like yellow and blue, but maybe, I don't know. But then get a Magneto, Toad, Blob, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Destiny. I think Blob might have to be swapped out just since he's more Build-A-Figure-ish, like a deluxe figure.
Or deluxe, yeah.
So maybe swap him out for like an Avalanche or Mystique or something. I guess Mystique would be a pretty easy reissue. Be cheap for Hasbro. They could still charge us money for it.
They'd love to.
And I think Magneto should come with like a bigger, like force field, like half bubble effect. Because like
and a cloth wired cape.
that would be cool, but again,
what about well, I guess we have so much Spider-Man stuff, but
you want like a new Fearsome Foes or Sinister Six-Pack?
I don't know.
Is this new 5-pack not good enough for you, Jordan?
Yeah, as much as I love spending all that money on reissues, I don't know, man. I just think the whole figures as a Haslab seems unlikely to me.
You don't think it would be?
I just feel like for me, it wouldn't. Maybe I'm not the target audience, but I definitely would be like, eh.
Yeah.
But maybe that would be that would be a dream for new collectors.
True.
So.
And yeah, I mean, you would have to do this something like you couldn't do like a Jim Lee style X-Men. I don't think, because they've already got those and they're redoing the animated series, which is pretty similar. I think you could do more of like a first appearance, like especially like a Green Quicksilver. We don't have a Destiny. Scarlet Witch is kind of like, I almost don't want to throw her in there because we have so many. But how do you have Quicksilver in a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and not her? You could have a Snowy Iceman. We don't have that yet. Angel, they haven't made. I don't think they've made a human beast ever, like a non-furry. So, yeah, and we haven't had a Magneto in a while, but that's another one that like that's way too popular to only be a Haslab. So maybe those are those are probably more realistic as like 5-packs. Like I would love to see a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants 3-pack with Blob, Pyro, and Avalanche. I think that would be incredible. But again, that's probably too much of what you actually want, where we're not going to get it. And it's probably going to be something like, if it was a 3-pack with Blob, it would probably be like Blob, Pyro, and Mystique. We've already got 2 Mystiques. We've got a Pyro, and then here's your Blob. So that's probably more likely what would happen. But again, maybe
one never knows.
Maybe I'm just not dreaming hard enough.
As I say, I'm gonna choose to have hope, Dakota.
That's good. You definitely should, because
definitely keep on dreaming, buddy.
You don't want to kill all of your hopes and dreams, but Hasbro's really kind of beat it out of me for a little while now.
Well, maybe they'll save it with this awesome woolly mammoth you're about to get.
If they made it a woolly mammoth, I would be blown away. Especially, how does a woolly mammoth come with a tire iron and crowbar? But
don't worry about
it. But yeah, I mean, did you have any other Haslabs that you wish to see?
Not like...
I've heard a lot of people wanting a Spider Slayer. I feel like that would be kind of more up your alley.
Yeah. Spider Slayer. Could see that. Yeah.
Get a Venomized T-Rex. I've seen that too.
Gosh, Venomized everything.
Exactly.
Venomized Aunt May. That's probably what's coming. No, I don't know, man. I might... I had an idea if we're doing figures, like a retro style, those like 1980s Secret Wars figures where they're on the big card and they came with coins or whatever. Maybe to appeal to that demographic, you get your basic like 5 heroes, 5 villains, and they would be in that style. And then maybe you unlock, maybe there could be a big Beyonder. I think he goes giant, or I don't know. That would almost be too easy to cash in on the 80s nostalgia to not, because I know they've done retro packaging, but not the Secret Wars.
Right.
In a couple years would be a great tie-in to the movie.
That's true. I feel like that's got to be coming. Especially because those were super popular. They were on the variant comic book covers. They had those action figures. So yeah, I would think that's got to be coming, just as a new retro wave. Maybe not, like you said, probably when the movies are more close. But what if it was going to be that 5 villains, 5 heroes? What would be your 5 and 5? Who are you picking?
I think you have to have Doctor Doom.
Okay.
I mean, Doc Ock was a pretty prominent part in that story. I guess I'm gonna list characters that we already got though, like Ultron, Kang. Okay. Like
Last villain.
Last villain I'll pick. Maybe like some obscure one, like oh, who is she in the new She-Hulk show? Titania or whatever.
Okay.
She made her first appearance during that storyline, so you could get that.
All right. Now your heroes.
Guess your hero. Gosh, it's just like all ones we already have. Of like a Cap.
Yep.
But you already have a bajillion Captain Americas. I'm trying to think who else I'd want. There were X-Men.
You're not going to put a black-suited Spider-Man in there?
Yeah, I mean, I know I need him, but it's like, I don't want him.
You don't want him in there, but you have to.
Spidey, I have to. Probably need a Wolverine. This is just like...
This set sucks, Jordan.
We already have. This is a terrible set. All right, it's a bad idea. That's why I said it wouldn't be a Haslab. Probably. It would be more of a wave.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. That would be an amazing wave. Hasbro would love it. They get to make all those characters that they make all the time. They're going to give us a Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America. Those are the figures they want to make, and they'll get to make them in a cool package. So,
I don't know. I think what would be saving it is the cool packaging.
Yes.
So even if, like, that could be a way to sort of placate the people who are like, I'm out of here, we're done with that, which, rightfully so, no more windows, what's the point of putting it on your wall? Oh, here's some cool Secret Wars retro packaging from your childhood. It's like,
I forgot about the non-plastic packaging. That's true. They probably won't even be able to do these. They would have to be like a...
But didn't they say the retros will still have the windows?
I don't know. I thought they were going completely plastic-free by some date. I can't remember what the date was. So I think even the retros are going to be a thing of the past eventually. So hopefully they get that in before. Maybe that's going to be the only way to do it. They're like, the date is this, Haslab right before it. Here's all your plastic packaging. Donezo.
Maybe.
So
we'll see. All right. Well, a lot to think about.
Yes. That is going to wrap it up for our Haslab predictions and dreams. If you want to follow us on the social medias, you can follow us on Instagram at Strong Collectors. And then make sure that you're subscribed. You've liked this podcast. Leave some comments. I respond to all of these all of the comments we get on YouTube. I don't think there's any way to comment on other audio platforms, but make sure you're sharing this with all of your buddies, all your other fellow collectors. And until next time,
stay strong.